Good morning, it's Ms. Bastias from Bristol Middle School, 6th grade. Today, we will be finding area of other triangles. So we're gonna start with this triangle right here, triangle A. It has a base of 8 centimeters. The base that we're talking about is right here. And then it has a height of 6 centimeters. But when we're looking at a triangle, when we're looking at the height, it's the height from the top of the point to where it would meet the line where the base is. Basically, what that is forming is a perpendicular angle. You know it's perpendicular because it has this little square. Perpendicular is often expressed using that symbol. Okay, so on this triangle, the height is 6 centimeters. If we were to take this and we were to make it into a parallelogram, we would go like this and take that same angle here. The formula for parallelogram would be base times height, but we can see that the area of this triangle would be half that of the area of the parallelogram. So our formula for area of the triangle is base times height divided by 2. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to do the base, which is 8, times the height, which is 6, and we're going to divide the whole thing by 2. Another way to do it is base times height times 1/2. Either way works. So when I go 8 times 6, I get 48 divided by 2. And 48 divided by 2 is 24. We have to make sure that we're putting our units of measure. When we're measuring what the area is, we're measuring how many squares would actually fill up this area if we were to fill it up with squares. So we would have squares, which is centimeters times centimeters, so we would get centimeters squared. So let's show you how that looks in a different triangle. Now we're going to go to triangle B. The base on triangle B is 7 inches. So the height again goes from the top of that point on that triangle, and it's the line that forms a perpendicular line. Excuse my coughs. We're going to use that same formula. Area of a triangle equals base times height divided by 2. Which equals 7 times 5 divided by 2, which equals 35 divided by 2, which is going to give us 17.5 or 17.5. And then again, we're going to put our correct units of measure, which is inches squared. We're going to look at 2 more practice for your notes. Triangles C and D. So what's different about triangle C is it's pointing a different direction. So you're like, what's the height and what's the base? Well, the base on this one is going to be the one that is perpendicular to the height. So since they have designated this line and this line as perpendicular to each other using that little square, that means that the 13 feet is the base and the 7 feet is the height. So again, area equals, area of a triangle equals base times height divided by 2, which is 13 times 7 divided by 2. 13 times 7 is 91 divided by 2. That's going to give us 45.5 or 45.5. And then again, we're going to put our correct units of measure, feet squared. Notice how my syntax is all lined up. I'm showing what's happening each step of the way. Again, I picked triangle D because it also looks a little bit different. Same formula, area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. So on this one, look, the base is upside down. But again, we know it's the base because they're telling us with this little square that it is perpendicular to this, which is the height. Those two things that are perpendicular to each other. So we get base is 13 times the height is 12 divided by 2. 13 times 12, 156 divided by 2. So 156, that's going to be 78. We put our correct units of measure, meters squared. So looking at that, that is our area of other triangles video. Until next time, keep practicing and remember, practice makes permanent.